The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, a fortnight ago in New York, the Prime Minister announced the establishment by this country of a new sanctuary in the Kermadec, the size of France, that was welcomed from London to New York, from one end of New Zealand to the other, and illustrates the commitment that this government has to a balanced program of not just ensuring that the New Zealand economy grows and creates jobs, but that we are also responsible custodians of the environment. Mr Speaker, today we released the Environment Aotearoa report. This is the very first independent, comprehensive report on the state of the New Zealand environment, possible through the passing by this government of the Environment Reporting Act. Mr Speaker, in response to Mr Haig's question, next month we'll be introducing a bill to the House that will see, Mr Speaker, 500,000 homes in New Zealand retrofitted with insulation during the term of this government. And let me give you the comparison. 15,000 homes insulated under the 9 years of the last government, 500,000 homes insulated under this government, and the member on the opposition benches has got the gall to refer to 500,000 as somehow being token. But Mr Speaker, it goes far further than that. Look at the program of work that my colleague Maggie Barry is pursuing through the budget with the saving of the Kiwis and reversing their decline. The program that she's initiated around the war on the weeds, things like wilding pines that are dramatically changing.
Point of order, the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Heard that phrase, but my colleagues believe they did hear it, and we think it's unparliamentary in the extreme, and that the Minister should not be allowed to proceed on that basis.
I never heard any comment that I'd consider unparliamentary in the stream. If I missed something, I'm sorry.
Well, do you want me to elaborate?
Well, I think...
He asked whether somebody had the so-and-so. Now, frankly, that's not acceptable.
I don't think that's what was stated at all. Would the Honourable Nick Smith continue?
Speaker,
order.
And later this year...
Order. Is there a fresh point of order? Because we're moving on from that matter. Fresh point of order, I'm happy to hear it.
Fresh point of order, Mr Speaker. Not too long ago, one of my colleagues only got 2 words out, and they used the word in a question, crap. He got sat down and shut up. And this member is allowed to get away.
The member will leave the chamber. The member will leave the chamber. Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, and later this year, my colleague Simon Bridges will be announcing...
Order. I apologise. I'm just waiting for this member to leave the chamber. The Honourable Dr Nick Smith.
Mr Speaker, and my colleague Simon Bridges, the Minister of Transport, will later this year be announcing initiatives by this government in respect of electric cars. We could talk about the initiative of the Prime Minister in the national network of cycleways and the new urban cycleways that are now part of that program. Mr Speaker, there's the 5-fold increase that this government is committed to in terms of cleaning up New Zealand's lakes and waterways with initiatives all over the country. My point, Mr Speaker, is that this government has a very practical and substantive program around the blue-green issues that we campaigned on, and the reason that we maintain the confidence of New Zealanders is because we say what we mean and we do what we say. I particularly want to highlight the Environment Aotearoa report that's published today, because most New Zealanders would see it as an anomaly for a country that depends so much on its natural resources for its wealth-creating industries, that we are the only OECD country not to have produced such a report as what we have published today. It is part of our government's program of strengthening the institutions and the systems around the New Zealand environment. We're proud of our record that created the Environmental Protection Authority and the role that it has in making sure that we manage that environment wisely, that we pass the legislation that enables that huge area of EEZ to be properly managed. And again, I emphasise our progress that we have made with marine protected areas last year in gazetting a record 10 new marine reserves in areas like the subantarctic islands, the 5 new marine reserves on the west coast, new marine reserves at Akaroa and at Kaikoura, as well as, of course, that massive reserve that I opened in mentioning at the Kermadex, that, Mr Speaker, to give you some idea of scale, it is 35 times larger than all of the 44 marine reserves that ever have been created by this Parliament and this government, and is a global commitment to improved management of our oceans. Mr Speaker, this is a blue-green government, a government that is able to marry together good economic management with responsible management of the environment, and that is one of the reasons, Mr Speaker, that this John Key government continues to retain the confidence of New Zealanders. Well done.